Yeah! That's how you start a show. How is everybody? Wow. Is everybody doing okay out there? Tell me where you're from. I'm Dave England, the host of Wine with Dave. I started this on April 1st, and I just can't give it up. I just can't get enough, and I just can't give it up. Who do we have tonight? Fish Taco and Tecate Friday. Rick, how's it going, Rick? Call me, Rick. Call me. Give me a call. What is that, Tecate? I don't know what that is. What is Tecate? I don't know what that is. Anyway, Matheus Fierro, this guy is so incredible. Incredible. I know you meant to say that. Matthias, thank you for showing up. I think I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm not sure. Matthias. Bob Goldberg's in the house. Yeah, all the way from Maryland. We got Maryland. We got California. Mr. Fierro, where are you from? Type it in. Everybody type in their town. Just do it now. Just get it over with. Get it over with. I'm curious where you're from. Be really nice. If you're just tuning in, I'm Dave England. This is Wine with Dave, and I've got a really awesome guest tonight. I am so pumped. I got guitars all over here. I don't get into it. Anyway, so today is Friday, September 18th. It is episode 67. 67. This is great. Been doing this for a while now. I'm loving it. Matheus, is it Matheus? Just give me a thumbs up if it is. You're from Brazil. Come on, Brazil. Brazil in the house. I heard you guys don't know how to drive. I heard that from someone. Got to tell me if that's true. Brazilians are crazy drivers. Jason McNeely. Hey, Dave. How's it going, Jason? Any relation to Jack here? Tecate is a Mexican beer. Oh, cool. Olivia Wicks, where are you from, Olivia? Hello. That must be England. I'm going to guess with hello, that's England. Jason's from Atlanta. Ah, you're right down there with your relative. Justin Adolphson, Long Island, New York. Come on, Adolphson. Oklahoma. Bejarano. There's Mateo. Bejarano, Oklahoma. Come on, Mateo. Hope you get some guitars out there. I'm going to be playing along with our boy tonight. Bob Goldberg from Miami originally. And we got, he's from Brazil. Come on, Brazil. And you guys are bad drivers. And am I pronouncing your name right? Matheus Fierro. Or better known as Matheus Fire. Speaking of fire, I'm drinking cinnamon whiskey. I still got some more left. This is the Wine with Dave. That is good. Guys, are you ready for my guest tonight? I am ready. We got a whole bunch of people watching, all from Instagram. Just type it in. Just say IG if you heard about this show from Instagram. I've been really pushing hard on there, and I bet a lot of you are from there, from Oklahoma, Long Island, New York. Justin Adelson, Long Island, New York. Go ahead and like and follow me, okay? I'm going to have a lot of musicians and artists on. And if you think you are interesting and want to be on the show, you know what to do. Just inbox me on Instagram or right here on Facebook. Contact me. We'll talk. I have guests all over the world. I interviewed a heavy metal bass player from Greece, a singer-songwriter from Leeds, England, another singer-songwriter from Edmonton, Canada, and now Atlanta, by way of England tonight. Listen, I'm going to get into the next segment, all right? The next segment's kind of cool. Some people like it. Most people like it, all right? Here's the next segment, and then we'll get to our guest. This is Did You Know? And these are really crazy, weird, bizarre facts. And tonight, I do not disappoint. It is crazy, some of these things, all right? I'm on the wrong I'm on the wrong piece. Let me go back here. Okay, in 1926, Arctic explorer Peter Freuchen was trapped under an avalanche while on an expedition. He escaped from death by fashioning a shiv out of his own feces, and he amputated his foot. Wow. If you gotta go, you gotta go. But if you gotta go, make sure it freezes so you can turn it into a blade, which will cut your foot off. That's intense. You think we have it bad now? This guy, 1926. I gotta raise a glass to you, Peter. I think I would just die. Did you know in ancient Egypt, servants were smeared with honey to attract flies away from Pharaoh? Imagine that. Imagine getting paid to sit in someone's yard to smear honey on you so all the mosquitoes hang near you and not your wealthy boss and his party. Ugh. I would quit. Roman Catholics in Bavaria founded a secret society in 1740 called the Order of the Pug. New members had to wear dog collars and scratch at the door to get in. I kid you not. Henry VIII of England had people who were called grooms of stool, whose job it was to wipe his bottom during his reign. He had 4 such people, all of whom were knighted. If you're young and you're playing guitar or bass or drums or keyboards, and you guys are all fighting because you're trying to come up with a name for a band, I would suggest the Grooms of Stool. Just saying. Before Abraham Lincoln became a politician, he was a champion wrestler. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. In fact, with more than 300 bouts under his belt, Lincoln only lost 1 match in his career, and he was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in 1992. Abe Lincoln. In 1923, jockey Frank Hayes won a race at Belmont Park in New York despite being dead. He suffered a heart attack mid-race, but his body was so strapped in tight, it stayed in the saddle until his horse crossed the line for a 21 outsider victory. Wow. Crazy. Should have had a heart attack after he won. All British tanks since 1945 have included equipment to make tea. Those British, they love their tea. Here's another interesting did you know fact. Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin were all nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Nice guys. Roman Emperor Caligula made one of his favorite horses a senator. Okay, here's the next one. This next one's interactive. I want you to guess. Pope Gregory IX was in power. He declared that a certain animal was associated with devil worship, had them exterminated across Europe. It's believed that the disappearance of this particular animal helped rats proliferate and spread the bubonic plague. What was that animal? Just type in, I don't know, devil worship, and just type in the animal you think that Pope Gregory got rid of. Despite popular rumors, Elvis Presley had severe constipation that plagued him through his life. He actually died while pooping because of a condition called megacolon. Didn't know that. Love me tender, love me sweet. At the height of his popularity, Charlie Chaplin entered a Charlie Chaplin look-alike competition in San Francisco. What place did he come in? Put Charlie Chaplin in what place you think he came in. If you don't know Charlie Chaplin, you're too young, and you're probably here because of Instagram, and you're only here for Jack, and you don't care about this old guy. What place did he come in? The last interactive, who electrocuted a circus elephant to death on Coney Island? And over 1,000 people came to watch the elephant die while this person recorded it on video. Who was that person? And lastly, the Civil War began on a farm of Wilmer McLean, who then moved more than 100 miles away to escape the fighting, only to have the war end inside of his house at Appomattox. Crazy. Well, we're done with that little segment. Let's add up the votes here, okay? First one is Pope Gregory declared that a certain animal was associated with devil worship, and he got rid of them. And because he got rid of them, the rats expanded and bubonic plague. Does anyone want to take a guess? Let me go back. Whoa, lots of people. Sofia Martino, Argentina. It's right. How are you drinking whiskey on Wine with Dave? Bob, I break the rules. It's my show. I get to break the rules. Olivia Wicks, that's some tough... Yeah, that's... All right, you just won the award for the funniest comment. That is tough. Sharp, a bit sharp. Most people knew that about Lincoln. I didn't. Okay, Ian Shannon says cats. He thinks cats. Goldberg thinks cats. Rick Greenwood thinks animal is the animal that he exterminated. Olivia Wicks thinks cats. Jason McNeely thinks donkey. Rick Greenwood thinks weasel. Actually, it's cats. Pope Gregory got rid of cats, and because of that, the bubonic plague. I'm not a fan of cats personally. I like dogs better, but in this case, I think you need to keep the cats. Okay, Charlie Chaplin entered a Charlie Chaplin look-alike competition in San Francisco. He did not come in first place. What place did he come in? Anybody? Ian Shannon says 7th place. Emily James, 3rd. Charlie Chap, last place. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's last. I don't know. No one else is voting on that. He came in 20th place. All right, the last one. What famous man this is going to shock you. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. That was pun not intended. That literally just came out of the top of my mind. It's going to shock you. This man electrocuted a circus elephant to death on Coney Island. 1,000 people showed up to watch the poor elephant die while this guy recorded it on video. That's kind of weird. I took this from the internet. I don't know if it's true. Who's that man? Ian Shannon thinks it's Thomas Edison. Donald Trump. Emily James, Donald Trump. Elephant Houdini. Good guess. All I know is the elephant's name was Topsy. Ian Shannon. Okay, is there some swearing on the show, I guess? It was Thomas Edison. But how did he shoot it on video? I don't know, I got it off the internet. Thomas Edison. I thought he was a good guy. He electrocuted an elephant. Wow. I don't like him anymore. Folks, it is Friday, September 18th. You guys ready? What happened on September 18th? Well, this happened on September 18th. That's right. That's right. Let me go back. 93 years ago today, Columbia Broadcasting System, better known as CBS, goes on the air with 18 stations. 18 stations. This happened too. Remember this guy? 1970. Today, 1970, influential guitarist Jimi Hendrix died today. Jimmy moved to England in 1966. He formed the Hendrix Experience. His performance at the Monterey Pop Festival established him in the U.S. He's known for playing Woodstock, where he played Star Spangled Banner. You know all that stuff. You know all that stuff. We miss him. 1970. Part of the 27 Club. You know who's not part of the 27 Club? Right there. It happened today. Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away today at the age of 83 from complications of metastatic pancreatic cancer. She was a Supreme Court justice, the second woman to be appointed to the position. Ruth Bader Ginsburg graduated from Columbia Law School, going on to become a staunch courtroom advocate for the fair treatment of women and working with the ACLU's Women's Rights Project. She was appointed by President Carter to the U.S. Court of Appeals in 1980 and was appointed to Supreme Court by President Bill Clinton in 1993. And here's a quote today. Our nation has lost a jurist of historic stature, Chief Justice John Roberts said in a statement. We at the Supreme Court have lost a cherished colleague. Today we mourn, but with confidence that future generations will remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg as we knew her, a tireless and resolute champion of justice. Yep, we lost a historic figure, massively historic figure today. I didn't mean to joke about that she's not in the 27 club. She's 85. I just, things come out of my head, I can't, Anyhow, thanks for joining. Type in where you're from. Would like to know where you guys are from. Let's see. Epstein, Max McNeely. Max, you're a 11-year-old drummer, Max. Good that you're on the show. Hi, Tom. Didn't kill self. Oh, right. She didn't kill herself, right. No one liked Jimmy H. I never heard him called Jimmy H. You get the latest Jimmy H album? Rest in peace, Hendrix. Yeah, Mateus. Not the way to start Rosh Hashanah. No, definitely not. Hi, Tom. People are just saying hi. Angel Rodriguez from Puerto Rico. Oh, she was 87. I thought 85. Thomas Dick, not a Ginsburg fan. Yeah, she didn't have a lot of friends on, Gracie Lyons from upstate New York. What kind of whiskey? It's a cinnamon whiskey, Emily. Like my glass? All right, we're going to get into this. Oh, I still got more people. Toledo, Max McKeely from Toledo. Olivia Wicks from Florida. Man, you people are all over the U.S. This is so cool. Go ahead and follow me because I have some cool people on the show. Bad take, Rob. Jimmy is awesome. Rosh, okay, I can't continue. Wow, Daniel Forrest, Canada. Daniel, got to get a profile picture. Don't they have profile pictures up there in Canada? All right, where are we at? Monday night. Today's Friday night, but Monday night next week, my guest is Jeremy Gottner. He's got a PhD. I kid you not, he's a rocket scientist. I have a rocket scientist. My bucket list was to have a rocket scientist on the show and a brain surgeon. Check that one off the list. But he's not a rocket scientist anymore, even though he has a PhD. He's actually turned his career into helping other people find their career and propel them, get it? To propel them into their career. Really fascinating guy. Can't wait to have him on the show. Jeremy Gottner. But tonight, you are in for a slammin' treat. All the way from the land of the ice and snow, where the hot springs blow. Hammer of the gods. If you're a Led Zeppelin fan, this is the night. Sit back, grab some mead. If you're a Viking, grab some whiskey, whatever. If you're a Zepp fan, tonight you're in for a treat. My guest is Jack Boaden. He is a Jimmy Page sound-alike and look-alike. Wait till you hear this kid. And he's a kid. He's 16. Jealous? You think? Check it out.
The thing that I like most about music is that there's just a certain energy to playing music, that the knowing that you can get up and make people happy and make people move and turn an audience on. I think that's really the thing that I love most about it. It's also the fact that I can get up and make as much noise as possible and get to do what I love and get to do what I truly enjoy doing, but also expanding my horizons to different genres, from whether it's funk, R&B, soul, or whether it's sticking to the main stuff like blues, rock and roll, and folk music. So in all reality, and just when it comes down to it, just getting to do what I love and making people happy is really what I love most about music. most viewed clip.
There you are. How are you, Jack?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Man, your playing is fantastic.
Thank you.
Is that all you're going to say?
Uh,
You were talkative all day when I was talking to you earlier. Now it's like you're going to be quiet on me?
See, I said I'm a shy person, so like once the camera, I guess once I go on camera, you see me on the shows, and then you think, oh, he's gonna be so energetic, but Capricorns aren't normally the most energetic people, I guess. But
Yeah. Let me
yeah,
shut down.
I'm quite energetic. Yeah.
I have a few apps open, and hold on. Remove from dock. I think that's what's slowing down some of the quits.
Okay.
When you have a lot of apps open on your laptop, it slows down bandwidth, and everyone comes in pixelated. All right, you're coming in clear. Can everybody see him? Give us a little thumbs up. Nice. I'm so glad you're on the show, my friend. And we met on Instagram, and you're playing. Let me just start by saying, first of all, 16. Yeah, definitely jealous. I'm not hiding it. I think I knew Living Loving Maid, and that might have been it. And you just, not only do you know these songs, you've got the tone, you've got the vibrato down, you got the look, you got everything. You're like, anyway, that's cool.
Yeah. So,
How many hours do you take in practicing? Do you practice a lot all day?
well, starting off, I really played, I guess, 5 hours a day. I'd play as much as I could. I'd come home from school and I'd just play. I'd always be told, do your homework. The reason I kind of really started playing is growing up. I was surrounded by a lot of the great music, and my around 6-7 years ago, I guess maybe when I was like 8, I had gotten, maybe before that I had gotten my first guitar, and I never really played it much. I just kind of messed around. My dad really, my first chords. He taught me. We were at this cottage up in the mountains, and he had given me some tabs to, like, Let It Be, which was just like I think it was like an A minor, a C, and like a G or a D or something like that. And I still have the tabs I keep in my wallet. It's kind of just a memory of, like, that was the first thing I learned. The first song I really learned, because I never really fully learned that. The first song I really learned, I think, was 8 Days a Week by the Beatles. Something else, but
yeah.
I think it was either that, That's All Right by Elvis.
Did you do Day Tripper?
So
Everyone learned Day Tripper early on.
Yeah, we've done that actually in a few shows. It's actually it's not a difficult song to play. I like playing it with Max, but I learned that one actually quite early on too. But I always used to go up to this cottage with guitars up there, and I'd sit out and I'd look out into the mountains this is up in like North Georgia, so I'd sit up in this cottage, and I'd just sit out and I'd just kind of strum all day and watch it as the birds flew by. God, it's so beautiful. I think one of my favorite things is finding a nice place and just out in the open, just strumming along some folk chords. And that's kind of where I've written some of my stuff. I posted a few weeks ago a clip about an acoustic piece tuned down a full step on the guitar, inspired by a bit of some Roy Harper from his album Stormcock.
Yep.
Off of, I think, so I know because on his song Same Old Rock, Page plays on it as something like SG Sir Flavius.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And it was him. And I wrote something like that just kind of outside one day, kind of in the garden one day at my mother's, and kind of sitting out, and she's at this waterfall that leads down to a pool, so I was kind of sitting out there. It was really kind of serene kind of feel. So, yeah, that's, I think, kind of the ideal setting for somebody to just get outside and play, or go into the forest and play. It's always a good writing setting, for sure.
Doesn't nature, like, make you want to detune the guitar and play, like, open D or something? It's just so beautiful, isn't it?
I got my acoustic next to me.
Yeah, let's see your acoustic. Let me see the acoustic, because you were playing it earlier.
It's actually not it sounds like a Martin, but it's actually an Ibanez, like from 80s, 90s maybe.
Yep, I won't hold that against you.
My dad's, he got it from his friend, a guy named Jack Silsby in Florida. Who he was like, I don't play this. Do you want it? And he was like, sure, I'll take it. And I play it more than him. He's watching, he knows. But so I always tune it down. It's in standard right now. But whenever I always play, I'll tune it to like open G, some dadgad tunings. Maybe tune down a half step, or I go to just tune down a full step. That's why I write a lot of good folk stuff. Never really done like a half step, unless it's like Black Mountain Side. But normally it's just a full step down. So I kind of, just playing like folk chords and whatnot. So like. Stuff like that, it's just you can really get some really cool.
Yep.
Stuff like that and whatnot. But
it gets good voicings, guitar. Nice voicings, nice chords. Yeah, when you do different alternate tunings.
Oh, for sure. It sounds amazing when it's tuned down a full step, so you can really do like songs, anything that's tuned down a full step, or an open C, another one, which is open C is just like open G, just a full step down. It might be wrong, but so I like to play mostly alternate tunings because I'm more of a folk player when it comes to acoustic. So my big huge Joni Mitchell and Neil Young fan.
Oh, really? That's cool. All right, I got a lot of questions for you, so hang tight. How long have you been playing guitar?
Anywhere between 5, 6, and 7 years, maybe.
So around 10, maybe 9 or 10 years old?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Maybe a little older than that. I don't know. Somewhere around that age. Maybe a little older.
And you sound that good. So, but you're a pretty humble guy, which is cool.
I try to be.
Humble guy. I didn't say humble pie. Ever get into Humble Pie? Early Peter Frampton?
The live at the Fillmore album they did. I think they opened up with somebody. It was somebody. I Need a Doctor. What was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I Need a Doctor. Yeah. Frampton's Camel.
Frampton was great on that. Frampton was great in Humble Pie, and I know when he was in Humble Pie, or after post Humble Pie around '73, Jerry Lee Lewis was recording his London Sessions record with like Albert Lee, Rory Gallagher. And they recorded a version of Satisfaction that Jerry sings. There's also a version that Rory Gallagher sings. And Rory's a huge influence of mine. I love Rory. So like when you listen to some of my playing, you can some of those Rory licks are kind of like that. Like he was doing all that. He was doing a lot of. He was taking major and minor pentatonic scales and just going.
Yeah.
Some songs like Pistol Slap of Blues is another good example. Like. Something like that, but he was definitely a big influence of mine.
Thomas Dick is just asking, ask him about Batterhead.
Yes, Tom. He's a good friend of my dad's. He's so they had a band in the '90s called Batterhead in Ohio, and Batterhead they were playing all over, and their jam room, right? It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's in the countryside. They call it the Batter Dome, and we were going to do a show there on July 4th weekend. And I had this RV with us. So it was kind of like my changing room, and I had these red velvet pants on, this flowered shirt, and I was doing an internet test because I was worried it was gonna screw me over before the show starts. And I was like, oh, it's good. Little did I know it wasn't good in the jam room where I should have tested it. So I go in there, I turn it on, and it's not working, and I'm like, oh, this is a waste of time. I was like, get out, because we just stopped playing, and the proceedings afterwards were quite fun too. But,
yeah.
We always go out there every year, we like to play music, and Tom's he's a hell of a guy. He was screaming rock and roll when we were doing it. He's a great person.
That's cool. So, biggest influences. Who influenced you as a guitar player?
Peter Green, I would say, was Peter Green and Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry was one of the big guys because that kind of lick that's like the whole kind of basis of that famous kind of like that.
Right. The lead off lick. Yep.
That
and Peter Green is like, it's too bad. I mean, he started Fleetwood Mac. He left. It just he had that breakdown, that emotional, psychological.
With See, with Peter, his playing was he was also the favorite of Jimmy. Ironic. There's a lot of coincidences.
So Jimmy liked Peter
that.
Green a lot.
He copied his tone. Jimmy's tone, like his live tone, that really thin, out of phase tone, came straight from Peter Green, because Peter had his pickup in the neck slot flipped, almost like a bridge pickup, right? So it would get that kind of really like. Kind of really thin sounding tone, and his playing was really similar, because you'd hear Page do this like, which is straight from Peter Green, because you. So a straight like, my dog has decided to join me.
That's okay. Bring him on in, Australian Shepherd.
Yeah, so Peter's playing was really kind of what drew me to a lot of that blues style playing. His was really kind of clean and precise. And
people don't talk about this, but Peter Green's voice was really good too.
It was amazing. When it came to Fleetwood Mac, Jeremy Spencer was also very amazing. So was Danny Cohen. They all could sing.
Yeah.
Except for Mick Fleetwood and John McVie. Because everybody likes Mick Fleetwood Mac because they're like, oh, I love Stevie Nicks. And I'm just like,
Yeah. Right. It really was two bands. Like Bob Welsh, that era is kind of like the same thing with Lindsey and Stevie. He was just writing pop hits with them, then he left, and but that was the second band. The first band with Spencer and those guys was really good. Oh my gosh! What people don't
is Peter Green actually plays the ending solo on a song off of Tusk, but then he never met the band as they were. So he never met Stevie or Lindsey or he knew Christine because she was married to John when the band started. Because Fleetwood Mac came from the Blues Breakers. Peter was in the Blues Breakers, so was, I think, McVie and Fleetwood. And they all converged, and then they got Danny Cohen and Jeremy Spencer over time.
Yeah.
Jeremy was on the first record, and I think Danny was on the first or second. But Peter was I think the first song I heard Rattlesnake Shake, and just Peter's voices. Then I heard Green Manalishi, and that was what set it up. I think John Lennon said, no one can make a better single than Green Manalishi. And
Green Manalishi is a great song. If anyone has not heard that, Peter Green, Green Manalishi, unbelievable song. Very strange chords, though. Really weird chords. Chord changes.
It's that kind of chucking down in that E chord. It's like something I think it goes along like it's just like a.
Right.
Something like that, but
yeah.
They have the Fleetwood. It's so dark because you hear Mick go on the hi-hat, and then it just cuts right back to that dun 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 dun.
Yeah. That was like for a song to have a lot of dynamics. That came out real early. Like a lot of pop or rock bands didn't use dynamics. They just came in 1, 2, 3, 4. It was flat out, playing. But that had a lot of dynamics to it. I loved it. And Albatross, as pretty and simple as it is, very beautiful.
We played it last night before Thank You because I wanted Max to have it because it's going to be his last show for now. I'm hoping he'll come back eventually for something to pop in for a clip of main show at some point.
Talk about Max. Max is your 11-year-old brother.
Yes. And so the thing with Max is he started playing drum maybe 2 years ago, and the reason he stopped doing shows lately is because and he's committed, but he hadn't been playing in like 3 weeks, so he's been quite busy, but he's also just been playing a lot in band and school, so he's been having to get his back to now there's xylophones and the drum kit there, and so he hasn't had a lot of time, so it's causing him to be less committed, but he's going to, he'll pop back in, but so I'm really hoping he gets back into it sometime soon.
Yep. Now you have a connection to Jimmy Page. And explain your English accent. Why do you have an English accent, but you're in Georgia?
Here's the thing. So, actually, raised my grandfather in America from England. So there's the whole thing of that. That was how that kind of stemmed. For the family members, they can ignore that. But so that's kind of how that originated. Similar to the tyrant Boris Johnson. people don't know that Boris is actually American. He was born and raised in New York, but boy, it's so. But I actually know my regular grandfather. He was actually my regular grandfather was actually a Vietnam veteran, and he knows the bassist from a band called Smokey. So if anybody knows Smokey, they're a band from the '70s. They had a song called "You Don't Mind If I Curse" for the song, do you? It's the name of the song. It was God, I can't remember the name of the song.
That's all right. You're gonna look it up. People go to YouTube, look it up. Smokey.
Yeah, they had a song.
IE at the end. Smokey.
Yeah, their bassist Terry Utley sent me like a happy birthday message. My grandfather in Barbados. He goes, "Hey Jack, I'm down here in Barbados, Terry Utley," and he's like, "Hey Jack, how are you?" And they start singing me happy birthday, and that was really sweet. So, January 19th, for anybody who wants to set the date, 10 days after January 19, 2004, which is 10 days after Page's 60th. Quite unique, I guess.
All right, we just lost your feed a little bit. Make you don't have any apps open on your laptop, right, or your phone?
Clear those out.
Yeah, because you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, we all good?
We're good. I just didn't catch that last end. I don't think anyone caught the last point that you said. Connection to Jimmy Page?
Terry Utley from the band Smokey. He is friends with my grandfather, and they were in Barbados. I think this year, January 19th, 2004 is my birth date. So 10 days after Page's 60th. They were sitting there, and they go, "Hey Jack, happy birthday!" And they start singing "Happy Birthday to You," and I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet. That's such a nice." I think that's really it. So
nice.
Yeah.
So you're giving guitar lessons. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I started doing this a while back. I think maybe in July, or maybe end of June. I think end of June. Yeah, end of June. It's like place on whatever platform they need to. Skype, what we're using, Zoom, Instagram. My computer. Story. I broke my computer recently. I'm not going to say how. Well, I dropped it in my bag and it fell down on the floor. And I realized, oh no, my computer, and the screen was all cracked, and I was like, oh hell.
See, so, that's where you're that's where you're a typical 16-year-old.
Yeah, I'm not a big technology guy. I know very little about tech. People are always like, just out with their phones out in the school, and I'm just kind of sitting there. I might have a book or something. Like, right. What are you doing? And I'm like, doing what you're not. And,
Right. All right. So tell me about trying to reel you back in here, because your brain is like zzz. Lessons. You use Zoom, or how do you give lessons?
I use anything. People would normally contact me. I'll discuss the prices. Prices is $25 for 30 minutes, $40 for an hour. So I just teach. I teach whatever. I teach beginners, so I can teach chords, solos. I've been teaching one person kind of different soloing techniques, how to improve soloing with vibrato and bends and different licks, and how to improve your soloing with.
Can you teach like old style blues, like acoustic blues too?
Yeah, I was teaching that the other day about like kind of just how it all starts with this basic chord progression, which is just an A, an E, and a B. So it's just kind of just that little shuffle. So right. It's basic blues just stems from that. You can have David Bowie's songs can stem from. You have songs like Gene Genie. It starts with that, just that. Without this, you wouldn't have that. Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll. Keep It Knockin', Little Richard. You wouldn't have that. It's the same song.
Keep It Knockin' is what that drum beat is from. That.
That was how they were playing. They were playing Keep It Knockin'. And Robert started singing "Keep It Knockin'" in that key of A, and we're just playing rock and roll, but with the lyrics, and they just.
You know what's funny? Like every single drummer gets the opening beat of rock and roll wrong that I've known.
Yeah, Max got it
They think
quite
it's
well.
on the one. It's not. It's as if they're playing the hi-hats as if they're playing the opening riff of like Johnny B. Good. It's like da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
So it's and you feel it's on the one,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's on the 3.
Yeah, it's just a.
Yeah, keep a knocking. Look up Keep a Knocking. I love Little Richard. Oh my gosh. So you teach guitar lessons. That's a good price. It's pretty good. 25 for half an hour, 40 for an hour. Tell me, where do you plan on going from here musically? You got you, but your brother is taking a break. He's going to school, so he's playing drums. But you looking for a bass player and keyboard player? Tell me about your ultimate band. What's your ultimate band?
Ultimate band, like, future-wise.
Oh, I lost you again.
Right now, I'm moving to England, which...
I keep losing it. Jack, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Is anyone using Netflix or gaming or anything in your house? Because I keep losing you a lot.
No, not that I know of.
Okay, all right.
No, it's just my... Anyway, it's just a spotty connection. Future band-wise, so in several years I do intend to move to England, which people think is cheap. It's not. You have to have a living. You have to have a home. You have to somewhere to stay. You have to have a source of income and know what to do. It's not that easy. So, people think it's
teenager.
Easy. You can just march. Yep. Yeah, and so, my ultimate band, I guess, would be a drummer who can swing and have the technique of John Bonham, like, jazz drummer. Bonham was a jazz drummer, because he loved Buddy Rich and Art Blakey. So somebody like that, a bassist who can groove like Jones but play the keys like Jones and Ian McLagan from the Faces, and a singer who can scream like Plant but sing like Rod Stewart. So basically, my kind of dream band would be like the Lead Faces, if you must.
Yeah. Or the Small Zeppelin.
Yeah, see,
the Lead Faces or the Small Zeppelin. See, I can be funny. Yeah, that's a great combination. Ian McLagan on keyboards with the Faces was great.
Robert called themselves the Lead Faces all night because in '75 at Uniondale, February 14th, they brought out Ronnie Wood to play Communication Breakdown. And he goes, Rod Stewart would like to come out, but he's drunk backstage. So he goes, this is an old Lead Faces number. And he calls it Communication Breakdown, and they go into the song. And, Roddy, you can just hear Ron Wood playing it, too. It's a great song.
That's cool.
Ron Wood.
So what's your thoughts on the Rolling Stones? Because you went more for the heavy R&B of the Faces and the blues of Zeppelin. What about Stones? Do they have any influence on you, that rhythm?
They do. Yeah, Mick Taylor was a great player. I don't take a lot of stuff from his playing, because as much as I do Peter and Page, but with Mick Taylor was definitely a bit of an influence early on. I do love the Stones. I'm a huge Mick Jagger and Keith Richards fan. I've got most of all the records. I collect albums. I got close to I don't have much, maybe like 215 at most. It's grown like 30 in the past month because I've been making a decent amount of money from lessons, so I've just been like, buy album. I always go to like the cheap bins, like the $2 bins, because those aren't you can get some good stuff from there. Like I got Wilson Pickett, Beck Berger, Peace.
Oh man, for a 16-year-old, you are like an old soul. You like get it.
I'm very old fashioned, especially being I'm not not many 16-year-olds just can sit down and read a book and actually enjoy it, or have such an attention span. But I guess I'd say I'm quite different and old-fashioned from most people, because you have all the people that you got the kids that come to they come into school, they dress like the white kids in a suburban area, and they dress like they're a rapper. And and I'm like, you must be quite progressive. And then they're just like, guess what? What? Trump 2020. Oh, I'm like, oh, you don't know.
Wow. Hey, let me ask you a question. First song you ever heard of Zeppelin?
God, that might be a hard one. I actually don't remember. I think the first one I heard was...
I'll tell you mine while you're thinking of yours. My brother Mike turned me on to Led Zeppelin. He had a book called The Golden Voice, and it was a kind of a biography of Robert Plant, I think it was the Golden Boy voice or the Golden Voice of Zeppelin, whatever. I remember thinking, who is this? And then I remember hearing, I don't know if he played it or the album was just playing, and I went in the room and it was Immigrant Song. And that opening line of his vocal, that melody was like scary as all get out. I was like, wow.
Okay, so I think the first one I heard was Communication Breakdown. My favorite one is one barely anybody knows, is La La, which is an instrumental. It starts with a Hammond organ, Hammond B3, and then the drums come in and there's an acoustic guitar smacking away, and then it starts with this kind of like Syd Barrett-esque kind of like acoustic break, and then the 12-string comes in and that stops, and then there's this heavy reverb solo that comes in, my favorite solo, which I believe is Page's favorite solo. So that's my favorite. And that's also the first one I heard was Communication.
Wow.
The second one I heard was the cover of Train Kept It Rollin'.
Yeah, that's good. Rick Greenwood from California says, when the levee breaks, the harmonica in that's just screechy, huh? That's amazing.
I do play harmonica, and I'm trying to figure that one out, but I don't have a C harp. I only have a E, but I play a lot of stuff in E.
Do you? Yeah.
In my, so yeah, that's a great harmonica. So
nice. So guitar lessons, that's great. And I want everyone to follow Jack. Okay, Instagram.com, Jack Boaden. Just go in there and you'll find him. Is there anyone you just love to meet that could really teach you more about music and get you further into the future, as if you need it?
I would have said Peter, but he's dead now. So he was the only musician, I think, him and Little Richard, only two musicians I ever cried about dying, and Chuck Berry. When I think if anybody currently, there's got to be like just that's kind of a hard one, because of course everyone is like, oh, you need to meet Page, but I would love to, because I think there's definitely some stuff I could learn. But how
about John Paul Jones? Hanging out with John Paul Jones would be cool, huh?
I think I'd have to go with John Paul Jones, because he plays everything from guitar, bass, keys, upright bass. He's an arranger. He's played on everything. I mean, he was on so many sessions. I know he was on Hurdy Gurdy Man. That was actually the first time I'd ever heard John Paul Jones was on Hurdy Gurdy Man, without realizing that it was John Paul Jones. And Alan Parker on guitar, which many people think is Jimmy because he was the top session guy in London.
Right.
It sounds like his.
They used to trade jobs with session work, yeah. He was on Mellow Yellow, too.
He was.
He arranged for Mellow Yellow?
Joe Cocker's Little Help from My Friends. He was on half that album. He was on most of the songs in that record. And that's one of my favorite. That's my favorite Joe Cocker album. That and Mad Dog Englishman with.
That's classic. Yep. So Rick, anybody out there have questions? Fire away. Here's the question time. Rick is asking. He's from the great state of California. Do you intend to go to college, Jack?
No. I don't want to go. If I was, I'd probably go for either music or art. But I don't. I'm not a great artist, but I do want to get better at it. I do enjoy art a lot. So I do not intend on going to university one bit. But if I was,
this day and age, you're just throwing money away. Just YouTube it. Yeah, build on your skills. Why spend money?
Yeah. I'm gonna go get a degree. Oh no, I'm down 50,000.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me going on that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh boy.
But that's good. That's interesting. Any question? Let's see. Who else? Play some. Thomas Dick wants you to play something. Sarah wants you to play something. Daniel Forrest, what's your opinion on Clapton?
God, I love him. Clapton's another. I think one of my favorite Clapton riffs, "Stepping Out" on Live Cream Volume 2. It's a played on the Blues Breakers, but his version Live Cream Volume 2, just that. That's kind of how Clapton was. I read an early I read an early review from after Led Zeppelin's first album came out calling Page a shit Clapton and Robert trying too hard to Rod Stewart. But Clapton's playing revolved around a lot of that, just kind of that. Clapton's playing was just a lot better. So he was doing that kind of that sliding thing. You hear it a lot on like Song Sunshine of Your Love where he's going. And everybody knows he had the woman tone when he would go on the neck pickup, roll the tone off. Sometimes he'd go to the middle position, but right, it was normally most always come on the neck. He'd roll the tone
and a lot of the
off.
old blues guys would play in the open tuning, but Clapton would play right halfway up the neck, so it had a warmer tone. Yeah.
And then you had him in Dominoes because I bought a Strat reissue because of Clapton's Brownie, but I don't really play much Clapton on it. I just kind of play some really just kind of folk chords on it to get like a really resonant sound from him because it has that single coil sound. But he was in he had a really different style of play once the 70s came.
We have a request for you.
Yes.
Jacob Sanchez, play Friends.
That's actually in a really fun tuning. I actually want to get down to that. So
yeah, tune down to that, and while you're doing that, everybody watching, go ahead and follow me. Go up top, just follow. That's lots of love for me. Go ahead, give me some hearts and loves. Would love that. Let's see. Daniel Forcer, he worked with Mick Taylor and the Blues Breakers. Yeah. And Ian, while you're tuning that down, favorite Zeppelin album, Jack?
Led Zeppelin 3.
3, huh? Yep.
Uh-huh.
The White Album.
Mainly because the folk pieces on there. Which Friends.
Yeah, they were breaking away from the metal stuff. 1 and 2 was just hard rock right around the same time, and then 3 just opened up.
Yeah. It came right into Immigrant Song. But the folk pieces on there, like Friends, which is I think the second song on the record, is just that.
Oh, he's coming in distorted. You're coming in really distorted for some reason. I think you're overdriving. Do it again, a little quieter.
It's a really resonant tuning.
Yeah, do it again.
So he was doing all of that stuff and that kind of it's this C4, it's a C6 tuning, which is also the same tuning that you have songs like Bron Ra played on, which is just a cool fingerstyle song.
Oh man, that stuff is summer music. In the hills, going camping and around a fire, playing that. Hey, your thoughts on Duane Allman? Get into any of the Southern rock stuff? Duane and Dickie?
Duane, here's a quote I like. Greg Allman once said, calling our music Southern rock is like calling it rock. Because in reality, rock music started in the South with the blues musicians. You had guys like Robert Johnson starting with his stuff, you know. Then you had all the other guys. John Lee Hooker was coming around. Then you had all the guys in the 50s. Beatty was coming around. It all started from the South with Muddy, Little Walter. They all coming from the South of Chicago. So really, in my mind, there's no such thing as Southern rock. It's all just rock music. And all men migrated to England and migrated its way back. So in reality, it's all just music to me.
Right, and the Allmans were like really jazzy with J-Mo and drums. In memory of Elizabeth Reed, that stuff was jazz.
Elizabeth Reed is one of my favorites with Dickie Betts. And Wayne does a great one on it at the Fillmore East videos that. But I actually went down to Macon once to go to the big house in Macon. And I got to see where they showed all their album covers and went to the cemetery where they would write. Just to, have a little fun. It's a really cool city for the Allman Brothers, not the other side. There's not much there. There's one lad down there, a man named, people go unnamed actually, who is just not somebody who is favored well in the community of my fans, as he's a guitar player, but he's also quite racist. So he's not really he's like, I love Duane Allman, but And it's just like, oh well, you can't be an Allman Brothers fan and be a racist idiot.
Yeah.
'Cause they-
Thoughts on
yeah, I
Neil
love
Young?
Neil Young.
Yeah.
Right at second favorite songwriter of all time, right next to Joni Mitchell. Neil's music really is just. I can't get enough of Neil ever.
Yeah, and forget his
can't-
acoustic music, Jack. Just his soloing is like off the charts.
Yeah,
He pushes it. It's just really angular.
he had such. You'd have him come on in Nobody Knows, Everybody Knows Is Nowhere, Down by the River. It's so simple, yet it's such simple shit, but he comes in and then he blows everybody away with a song like that, and
Yeah.
he just on for like 5 minutes and then Stephen Stills was one of the top blues guys too. He got Hendrix and Clapton on his first solo album.
Right.
I have total of Neil, Stills Young Band, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and Young, Stephen Stills, Graham Nash. I have and 45s included album-wise. I have close to 20 of them all combined. Because my grandmother actually saw them the first time they ever played Ohio live. 10 days after they wrote the song and recorded it. They played it live for the first time in Michigan. She saw them do it. So, yeah.
Someone's
Definitely one of my
asking a
favorites.
question. Jen McNeely, probably related to you. If you could play with anyone living or dead for one night live, who would it be and what venue? Great question, Jen.
Maybe Roy Harper at the Rainbow in London. Actually, no. Roy Harper at the no.
You
Roy,
got to be
Roy-
lying. There's no way you can be 16 years old and know this stuff.
Roy Harper at the Marquee Club, and it's not open anymore. It's closed. But
I went to the Marquee Club. I went to the Marquee Club in '87.
Really, yeah. That could see.
Actually, I think it closed. Yeah.
Yeah, they played there on the Back to the Clubs tour, and the Stones also did a film there too. So Roy Harper at the Marquee in his prime of 1971. So Roy Harper, yeah.
Wow, good. Okay, another question here from Jacob. Thoughts about Ronnie Wood, also known as a good friend of Jimmy. They made Scarlet amazing. Yeah, it was in Ronnie Wood's basement. Right? What do you think of Scarlet? They're a great song, huh? That hidden Rolling Stone song that just came out.
Yeah, people weirded out by the fact that I learned it within 5 hours of it being out and posted it, and Scarlet Page liking and commenting on the video. So that spooked a bit because it just came out, and then I posted a clip of it. So that was a little. I love that song. Woody is definitely, I love him because I'm a huge Faces fan and Small Faces.
Yeah.
To Steve Marriott. But when it came to Faces, I'm a huge Rod Stewart and Woody fan. So Ron Wood, what's funny is I was record shopping and I found this Faces Live record from '73, and they have all the band members' nicknames on the back. So it says Woody. I'm not saying he's dull, but his favorite color is gray.
I like the face. I like the Small Faces just a little bit better. I mean, Rod Stewart is great. But man, Steve Marriott, that period was amazing.
Yeah, Rod in Jeff Beck group, his voice was very powerful there when he would sing "Shape of Things," but also when he started with the Faces, and his solo career and his first two albums are just Faces records. So everybody was then calling him Rod Stewart in the Faces, and then that was why Ronnie Lane left. Because then and with Ronnie Lane and Slim Chance. And Page is a good friend of Ronnie Lane. I love Ronnie Lane to death. Gosh, he was such a nice guy.
Yeah, that was so sad. He
Gosh,
got screwed over with some money deals, huh? Didn't make the money he should have made. I think he was living in a trailer with his girlfriend near the end.
And then he moved. One of his favorite jokes to play on his wife was he would play dead like this in his chair. They'd be like, "When's dinner gonna be ready?" And then she'd be like, "Yeah, fucking yeah."
Wow.
So Ronnie, I love him to death. Gosh, gotta miss him,
Wow. So you got some great tone. When I first heard you on Instagram, I thought, man, this kid has amazing vibrato. And with Jimmy's vibrato, not to get too technical, he doesn't bend fast. I mean, he bends fast but short, right? Isn't it like
Yeah,
short
see,
little, you know?
yeah, with certain players, you have certain players who will bend just kind of like Mick Taylor had really fast vibrato, and so did Paul Kossoff. They go, but then you have somebody like Peter and Page that he copied his vibrato with that. It's not fast or it's precise, but it's not just like. It's just
Yeah,
like.
that's more Albert Collins. It's kind of hard to bend the note and then give the vibrato at the same time, right? For people
Not
just
that
starting
hard,
out.
really. I think when it comes to playing vibrato, you just kind of have to know where you're at in the fingerboard and knowing what you're doing. I always say this: playing revolvers around the right hand. Anybody can just do, but not everybody can pick it right. So it all revolves around just kind of being able to just. It takes a long while to master. But
That's what makes it. That's where you take it to the next level when you got that vibrato and the bends. It's like, oh,
yeah,
now the guitar is really singing. It has a human voice.
vibrato is key. You can't be a good player without vibrato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just playing straight. Well, like jazz players don't use a lot of vibrato.
They do not. I've seen some jazz players do it, like jazz fusion players do. Like,
Yep.
one of my favorite solos of all time, is off of Steely Dan's Can't Buy a Thrill. First, I heard that when I was 12. I hadn't even known who Jimmy Page was, but I only knew who he was by 13. Side story, I got into people like, his name begins with an A and ends with Crowley. I got into him when I was like 11, and I've been into him since. So I'm not going to talk about him, but I heard that and I was just like, my voice is all high pitched. I like this. So Can't Buy a Thrill. If anybody doesn't know it, that's the album you need to go out and get tomorrow.
Mark it down. Can't Buy a Thrill. Steely Dan.
Yeah, so Can't Buy a Thrill, but my favorite solo of all time would be, Reel It in the Years, and that has some great vibrato on it because of the tone. Everybody does it for the tone, and that's what's so great about that opening solo and that middle solo too.
Is that Denny Diaz? Does he do that solo
no,
in there?
Elliot Randall did it in one take. One take solo, Elliot Randall.
Elliot Randall, wow. That's, oh man, that was fuzzy. That was thin and fuzzy. That was the perfect solo and tone for that song.
Yeah, that first record. And The Royal Scam was a decent record too, with some Kid Charlemagne on it. But then they had so many great songs.
Hey, I got to ask you about one of my favorite musicians of all time, Tom Waits. Thoughts on him?
Tom Waits, I never really was a huge fan. I never really got much into him. I've actually been like saying to myself, I should get more into Tom Waits. So, never really been a huge fan, so I don't know much about him. But I have been meaning to get more into him lately.
Well, that's more lyrical and more attitude. There's not like the blues solos, but it's blues and it's gutsy and it's got soul and feel and it's amazing.
Sure. I want to get more into him, yeah.
Yeah, let me turn you on to him. One of my favorites is Brian Jones from the Stones because he just played a lot of instruments. He was like the John Paul Jones of the Stones. Any new bands that you're listening to now that are coming out? And you know what? I got to ask you about this band. I personally don't like them at all, and you probably know who I'm going to say. Maybe not.
Van Fleet.
Yeah. Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on them?
Yes, everybody asks. So, I actually bought their record, and I have it because I was like, I'll give it a go. Listen to the full thing. I was like, it was alright. Not the greatest. Here's my opinion on them. They don't sound as much like Led Zeppelin as people say, and I'll say it like this because last year I met Geddy Lee from Rush, and that was like around the time Greta Van Fleet was starting to get big, and I'd heard the singer and I thought, he sounds like Geddy Lee. So I said to him, you ever notice that singer from Greta Van Fleet sounds like you? And he goes, I thought he sounds a bit like a Plant, but if you say it, I hear it a little more. So I think he sounds more like, when he does that howl, certain lyrics with his voice cracks, he sounds like Plant, but then his regular singing sound just kind of like a lower Geddy Lee. Then he has that, to his voice, and then he sounds like Geddy.
Oh, I can't stand him. I'll just be honest. I have no problem saying that. I think they avoid mentioning the big L word, the Led Zeppelin, and they talk about the blues, but they are trying to be Zeppelin so bad, like so bad. You can just see it.
Job of it. So here's the thing about them. The guitar player, he plays, when he solos, it sounds like Clapton. Just not. He sounds like Clapton because he plays an SG. But he what they do is like, with me, I acknowledge the fact that I'm playing, I look like Jimmy Page, and like them, it's like, hey, you guys sound a bit like Led Zeppelin. Who's Led Zeppelin? We don't know who that is. We don't know who that is in our lives. But the rhythm section does sound like them, so the Sam bassist, he sounds like them. But then the drummer, I was talking to a drummer from a band called Flairvoyant. If you don't know them, go check them out. They're a local London band. They've got an album out, and I only found them out because Jimmy had gone and seen them and said they're a superb live band. Go check them out, and I got to know their drummer, Antoine Payne, and he was saying,
I'm sorry. I got to interrupt real quick. Jason McNeely just said, sounds like a chicken being murdered. Yes. I love you, Jason.
Thanks, Dad. But, yeah, the drummer, he just lacks the proper technique because he said he really listened to like Ringo and Bonzo, but to be a great drummer, I'm sure he listened to these guys, but you need to get into, like, one of my favorites was Sammy Davis Jr. was a drummer, and he played on the Ed Sullivan Show in the early 60s, and he had the typical, drum thing where he's holding the stick sideways and doing all that, like Buddy Rich, but Buddy Rich was another big drummer, so I think the drummer needs to develop a little bit more technique.
Well, he is a guitar player too, and keyboard player, so he's multi-talented. The drummer, I've seen him play guitar, plays pretty good. So they got that going for him, where he's thinking of the song. But I just think they're trying so hard to be. I mean, they're even dressing that way, and the Nehru jackets and the.
The dressing is more like Jim Morrison.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
They don't dress. The singer has that 1967 Eric Clapton afro, and they've got I said that Jake Kiska, I think he looks like just Chris Evans but thinner and with long hair. Like, look at a photo of Chris Evans and then look at Jake Kiska and tell me what you see.
Okay, I still say a chicken being murdered.
I like that. I don't like the singer. I think the band itself is all right. I like the
they're a tight band. They're a tight band. Hey, I don't want to just what Jacob Sanchez says, the guitar player sounds like Clapton and Angus for solos.
I agree.
Yeah, sure. He's got the Angus sound, sure.
He does, yeah.
Listen, go ahead.
A friend of mine, Luke Bennett from go check him out on Instagram. He's a great photographer. He met them, and Jake gave him his tone settings, which I haven't asked him. He's a fun little. Luke's a nice bloke. So if you want some good photography, go look at his page on Instagram. Luke Bennett, but with a Z in it. So just follow him. Just go to my following page.
Oh, you'll have to let me know there. Any pedals? You play with any pedals, or you go straight in with a wah-wah?
Wah-wah, and I have a tape delay pedal that does not like batteries for some reason, and. But the two amps that I have in the back, I use that. I hate the Fender one with the built-in effects, but then I paired it with the Marshall, so I run through both.
Yeah.
Marshall acoustic amp, but I have a drive going from the Fender into it, so it kind of boosts the signal a bit.
So I know I'll share this with you, and I shared this with you earlier. This was my mother's guitar that I learned how to play on, and it is the Sovereign. Harmony Sovereign.
Yeah, H1260, right?
Yep. The very guitar, this is the Stairway to Heaven guitar, the very guitar that Jimmy Page had. And I
kind of want to hear you play it on there, just to kind of hear the sound of it.
Oh, I could never play Stairway to Heaven. That's just not, You just don't do that. It's like the forbidden, you know. Oh, the action's high. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty bright. I mean, it's a bright guitar.
They named a format
So anyway, I love it. It sounds good. I gotta fix the action. But
yeah, it does. It does.
it's funny that I looked that up one day because my mother had passed away and she let me have the guitar before then, and I just looked it up. I'm like, I wonder what this was played on and on what studio album. All of a sudden, every single blog was talking about it. Like, that's the Stairway to Heaven, all the acoustic stuff on the first few albums. First, I think 3 albums, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, you just froze up again. Oh, there you are. You're back. Hey,
We back?
we're back.
Yeah.
Jack, great for having you on. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to let people know about who you are? What makes you tick?
Yeah. What makes me tick? Saying Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks is better than Peter Green. That's a tick.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that gets on my nerves, and people like to mess with me for it. But just go follow the page if you want to talk, and I think you're good enough. I'm kidding. And,
I actually might take
the
lessons
page,
from you.
Clip up.
I'm actually considering taking lessons from you.
Why not?
Yeah, vibrato. I need
open to
vibrato
anybody.
help.
Go check out the page, people, and I'm offering lessons. So, yeah.
Nice. So that's how we follow Jack Boaden on Instagram. Instagram.com/Jack Boaden. And you got you do a live show too. Before you go, I want to talk about that. And everybody say what you want to say. Just type it in. Give me some likes. The live show, is that like every week or you just randomly?
We just choose a date. I'm not going to be doing them for a long time until I find a new drummer and a bassist because Max is kind of quitting on me. But we do them we used to do them kind of every week or so, but we hadn't done one in like 2 months. So last night was kind of Max's closing one, and it was our best one yet, playing wise especially. We screwed up a bit. He screwed up a bit in timing part. Sorry, Max, I know you're watching. He knows, but other than that, he played amazing last night, and I'm proud of him. But sad he's gone. So,
wow.
Someone actually, somebody thought he was my kid and that he died. Somebody thought
How did they get that?
Murdered him. Somebody thought that I was playing and I swung my guitar and killed him. That was a legitimate thing somebody actually thought.
Yeah, but when you have a lot of followers, you're going to get people like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, how's your kid? I don't have a kid. Kid in the drums. That's my brother. No, that's your kid. And I think I know.
And didn't you kill him because he's not playing anymore? Yeah. It's crazy what people think. That is funny.
It was a lot. Yeah.
All right, Jack.
I was like,
we're friends forever now. You've been on the show. You were friends forever. Go ahead and follow Jack's page. Go ahead and follow Wine with Dave if you want to be on the show also. Just inbox me. I love to promote musicians. It's close and near and dear to my heart. But if you are into Stevie Nicks, you are not allowed to be interviewed. Actually, I love Lindsey Buckingham. He's one of my favorites. Production and guitar and all that. Very, very unique. But yeah, definitely that wasn't the era that I love Fleetwood Mac for. Any closing guitar riffs, acoustic guitar riffs? Anything? The Rover? How about The Rover?
Started as an acoustic song. It's actually, you can find the demos of it. It's the same thing. It's just this. It was just kind of just this basic E kind of riff that he was doing.
Yeah, or Hey, what can I do?
Oh, that's another one. They actually recorded that in standard tuning and just slowed the tape down to get this.
Yep. Good and love
Yeah.
and love me too now. Hey, what can I do? Jack, you've been awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. Gotta
Hey, thank you for
go.
having me.
Yeah, what do some people say? Ian Shannon, some people are a little goofy. Matt Simon, I'm a huge fan of Jack. Yeah, Matt, he's great. Share, hey Matt, go
Matt.
ahead and share this link. Just click on share and share it to your own personal page. Love to get the word out there. Bob Goldberg, what about Ann and Nancy Wilson?
No, I never really got into them.
Kind
Sorry.
of
Not a
wannabes, huh?
fan.
Good, what they did to
Yeah.
rock and roll as far as females, but yeah.
Yeah, they were great, but I just never got into them. Good
Yeah.
musicians. Nancy Wilson. She wrote a lot of the songs for Almost Famous, and Mike McCready played the guitar parts for the song Fever Dog.
Interesting.
From Berlin.
Rick Greenwood says, thanks, Jack. California says, thanks, Jack. Emily James, Dave, you have a great voice. I didn't even sing. How do you know? Well done, Jack. Don Felisberto. He was on the show. Don, we got to have you guys back on again. Inbox me. Tell me what's going on. Jason McNeely. Thanks, Dave. Is Jason your dad?
He is, yeah. He's
Yeah.
outside right now.
Like a murdered chicken. I love it. Love it. Sarah
Thank you
Boaden.
for that.
Sarah Boaden McNeely. Where do you get the name Boaden from? Is that your mom's maiden?
Yeah, that's just the surname, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You don't have to give away
That's
too
what-
much info. Hey, thank you so much for
yeah.
being on. It's 10:17. We're going a little late. Everyone loves you. Olivia Wicks loves you. Love you, Jack. Jacob Sanchez.
You
Thank
too.
you, Jack. Lots of people. Oh, stay on. We got an after party. All right, stay on Skype. I want you to stay. I'll leave and go to the next scene,
Of
but
course, yes.
I want you to stay. We're going to have a little after party, you and I. We're going to chat about stuff. Olivia Wick says, great live. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Olivia. Funny stuff. You win the funniest comment award for the night. That was really good. Although, the murdered chicken line, that was, that's good. I like that one. All right. Take care, my friend. We'll talk soon. All right, we're back. Oh, wrong camera. Get back to the right camera. Guys, that was great. What a good kid, huh? 16 years old, pretty brilliant, and he's very, very knowledgeable of the music industry. We didn't even get into the kings, the Trinity, Albert King, Albert Collins King, B.B. King. We just didn't even get there, but I got to have him on again. When he gets a band, maybe in a couple months, 2021. It's going to be right around the corner. I'll have Jack on again, so hold your horses. It's only going to be a matter of weeks, maybe 8 weeks. We'll have him back on again. Again, go ahead and like my page, follow it. Follow is important. Liking it's good, but following it is love. It's 10:19 on a Friday night. Crank up some Zeppelin. Some Zeppelin. Yeah, Immigrant Song scared the living bejeebus out of me when I first heard Robert Plant screech those two notes, half note away. Like, oh my gosh. It sucked me right in. Never be the same. Never be the same. Anyway, I always have a closing quote. Actually, not a closing quote, closing joke. And so I just want to do that. Sometimes the jokes are good, sometimes they're not. But, there is a reason. There's a very good reason why you can't hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom. There's a really good reason you can't hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom. Do you want to know why? Because the P is silent. The P is silent. Hey, have a good night, guys. Monday night, Wine with Dave. Come on back. Come on back one Monday night. The whole week is great. I got a rocket scientist. I got a woman who died. Came back from the dead. Near-death experience. Got all kinds of people. I've even got a digital animator. What do you want? What do you want? I'll get them for you. Who do you want? What do you want? I'll get them for you.